So, good evening. Today we will discuss or decode this PYQ 2024 question, like across essay, argument, and then this report rating. Okay. So, the order of approach or the structure how we are going to take forward this session is like we'll be decoding the questions as theme, right? And the probable issue, whether it is a static issue or whether it is like a current affairs based issue. We'll try to decode that. And after that, we will try to understand the probable dimensions of the question, right? Along with the probable introduction and the conclusion and the different dimensions in the body part. Okay, followed by that, finally, we will discuss our brief discussion about the important facts and figures that will enhance the value, right, in your essays or arguments. Okay, so is that clear? So we will start with the first question: digital economy. Opportunities and challenges. So I'll just go with a brainstorming kind of discussion, right? So if there are any suggestions from your side, you can just drop that in the chat box. Okay. So the first question is digital economy, opportunities and challenges. For this, the theme can be either we can consider it under the theme technology, or we can consider it under the theme economy. Anything would be fine. Okay, since it is like an integrated concept, we can consider it under both the theme, either as economy or technology. When it comes to technology, because of the digitalization that is involved in this process, I'm considering it even under this technology part. Okay, so this is the theme, and like a digital economy is an ongoing issue, so we can consider it as like a governance-based issue, like which is an ongoing. Without taking it as static, we will consider it as a current affairs based issue. Okay, so moving on with the introduction and conclusion, your introduction can be either a definition of this digital economy or some of the very like many initiatives. Okay, let us not consider the initiatives here, but we will have a separate dimension in the body part. But you can simply start with the definition of digital economy or with some statistics, right? How far India has digitized its economy. There will be so many reports or survey findings in this regard, right? So you can just go for a comparison of how India has digitized its economy in the last decade, like in the last 5 years or 10 years or 15 years system. Anything can be a good introduction, either the definition of digital economy or some relevant statistics, right? So anything can be your introduction, and followed by that introduction, moving on to the body part, the multiple dimensions can be, first of all, digital economy, opportunities. As like the question itself, digital economy or opportunities from a digital economy. Anything can be your first dimension. Good evening, Ankita. Just now we have started. You can just take forward from here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the first dimension can be digital economy or like hyphen opportunities or opportunities from digital economy. Anything can be like anything is fine. Right, so this is your first dimension. I'm going to give a brief like outline about the dimensions alone. I'm not going to go into the details of the nuances, the fine data or this figures. Okay, so followed by that, you can go with the challenges in a digital economy. Right, when it comes to challenges, you can discuss about this increasing financial fraud or this digital illiteracy, etc., can be discussed. Right, so these can be some of the challenges, or this broadband or internet connectivity or access to mobile phones. All these can be discussed under your challenges. Right. So this is your next dimension, and followed by that, you can go for suggestions like how these challenges or limitations can be overcome. Right, like promoting this digital literacy or addressing this cyber fraud like cyber fraud incidents through proper awareness creation, etc. That can be your next dimension, and followed by that, you can discuss about some of the government initiatives in this regard, like to promote digital economy among the people, what the government is doing, or what are the various initiatives or policies that the government is coming up over a period of time. So you can discuss or give a brief outline on those aspects, and followed by that, you can go with the conclusion. Are you getting my point? I'll just repeat it once. The question is digital economy, opportunities and challenges, right? The introduction can be either defining your what is this digital economy or some statistics or report findings that highlights the evolution of digital economy in India. Anything can be a good introduction. So followed by that, you can just go on with the body part with multiple dimensions like opportunities from a digital economy. Followed by that, the challenges associated with digitalization of economy. Followed by that, what are the suggestions that you wish to give to address these challenges or limitations? And followed by that, what are the various government initiatives in this regard? And finally, conclusion. So if you just count this, there will be some 6 different dimensions: introduction, digital economy, opportunities from digital economy, challenges associated with the digital economy, suggestions to overcome the challenges, government initiatives, and conclusion. Right? There will be some 6 different dimensions, and you can simply try to narrate these 6 dimensions in a single paragraph. Right? So 2 paragraphs per page. So that way you will be able to give a very decent enough essay in 3 pages. 6 dimensions, 2 dimensions in one particular page in single paragraph. A descriptive writing, right? So that way you will be able to give a very decent enough essay here. Are you getting my point? Ankita, Priya, is that clear? Everyone? Thank you for your confirmation. Right? So when it comes to this important facts and figures that you must try to reproduce here, you should come up with some certain, first of all, you should be thorough with certain government initiatives in this regard. It will be listed here. And second thing is, if possible, you should be very thorough with certain reports or survey findings that highlights this digitization of economy in the Indian context. Whether it may be global reports or this national level reports or survey findings. These are some of the important facts and figures that you should be very much ready with so as to enhance your answer quality. Is this clear? So can we move on with the next question? Ankita, are you able to follow, Ankita? Okay, thank you. So we'll just move on with the next question. So if you guys have any queries or suggestions, you can just raise your hand, or else we'll just move on with the next question. Okay, thank you. So moving on with second question, global peace and national defense budget. So for this particular question, we can start with this the introduction. Okay, first of all, the theme is about security or global issues or international issues. Anything can be, since this global peace is involved, you can consider it as an international issue, or since it is speaking about the national defense budget, we can also speak from this security aspect. So you can club this under any of the themes, right? But I place it under the core theme of security, because that is ultimately going to result in peace, right? The more secure a nation or more stronger a nation, it is definitely going to enjoy more peace. So that way I'll try to place it under this security theme. And followed by that, we can definitely start with this Abdul Kalam's quote, right? So there is a quote that I came across, just a minute, I'll just put it. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. So there is, okay. So this is the full quote. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. You can simply, like, I'll try to share the this particular quote after the discussion in our group. Okay. So you can start with such a quote. Right. See, I don't emphasize on going with quotes for each and every question, but for this particular question, this quote sounds very apt. So that is why I'm emphasizing on this quote. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation, and when there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Right. So this is the quote, and this is how you can start your introduction, and like you can give a brief like a description about this particular quote. Rather than like, apart from giving the quote alone, like try to narrate a little bit of how this particular thing is emphasizing on this global peace. Okay, so that way you will be able to make a very good introduction. And moving on with the body part and the many dimensions. First, the dimension could be significance of national defense budget towards ensuring security. Right? Significance of national defense budget towards ensuring national security, and followed by that, the security at the national level to this global peace at the global level. Okay, that you can try to define it a little bit. You need not give such a lengthy subheading, right? Security at the national level, this arrow up, peace at the international level. That can be your second dimension, right? And followed by that, what are the challenges to ensuring security at the national level, or challenges to national security? That can be your third dimension. challenges to national security. And followed by that, like challenges to national security or global peace. For example, this terrorism, civil war, or something like this non-kinetic warfare, evolving warfare, like cyber warfare or information warfare, psychological warfare. I mean, not cyber, but psychological warfare, information warfare, etc. So these are some of the challenges that I am emphasizing, which are a challenge to this national security or the global peace. Okay, so that is your next dimension. Followed by that, suggestions to overcome such challenges. Right. So, or how to overcome it, or why these challenges should be overcome to ensure a global peace. Right. How to overcome. In that context, you can discuss about the necessary reforms in the United Nations or like UN organs, UNSC, like ensure, like empowering this UNSC or the United Nations organization as such. We can discuss all those things because they sound very ineffective in contemporary times, right? Despite the challenges that we face with respect to this global peace, these organizations, although they have been established to maintain order and stability in the world, they are not proving to be so much effective in this regard. So you can suggest measures on reforming them also in this context. Are you getting my point? So this can be your next dimension, and followed by that a conclusion. So I will just give a brief recap of the different dimensions. First thing is introduction. You can start with Mr. Abdul Kalam sir's quote and a brief narration about the quote, especially in the context of this particular essay. And followed by that, moving on with the body part, you can start with the significance of national defense budget towards ensuring security, and how this security at the national level is going to lead, like is going to ensure peace at the international level or global level. And followed by that, what are the challenges that we face, or what are the challenges that we face with respect to the national security or the global peace? Followed by that, what are the suggestions, or why, how to overcome, or why it should be overcome, right? Followed by that, the conclusion. Is this clear? Right. So some important facts and figures. You can quote this CIPRI report, where it highlights the increasing defense expenditure or military expenditure from across multiple countries. And you can also quote this global terrorism index by, I hope it is by an organization based in Australia. No, just Transparency International. I hope so. They will come up with this global corruption index, corruption perception index, and then this global terrorism index, global peace index, etc. by Transparency International. So you can quote that report also. Am I clear? Right. So these are some of the facts and figures, and you should also be thorough with if possible, you should also have a good knowledge on what is the defense expense in the recent budget at the national level, like at India, by India. So these are some of the important facts and figures that will definitely add value. Like what is the proportion of defense expense? What is the CIPRI report? And then this not corruption, but terrorism index by Transparency International. And then this quote by Mr. Abdul Kalam, our former president. This all will help you differentiate your answer from the common masses. Right? So this is how you should enrich your answer quality. Is that clear? So can we go on with the next question? Okay, so moving on with the third question. Yes, Ankita.
Sir, can we add about the conflict between the increasing national budgets and global peace?
See, it will not sound very relevant in this context. Let us restrict our discussion to discussing about the significance of national budget towards ensuring global peace. That is the core demand of the question here. So let us not deviate about the consequences of increased defense budget on its impact on other socio-economic expenses. Are you getting my point? Let us not go into the discussion of the opportunity cost associated with respect to this national defense budget. Right? So try to restrict to the core demand of the question as much as possible. So is that clear? So can we move on with the third question? Okay. Thank you. And moving on with the third question, tribal resistance to colonial rule. Right. So here, first of all, the theme of it. When it comes to the theme of it, we can consider it as a social issue or a history, right? And when it comes to this history, it has been like very new for the CAPF, because I think in the last 10 years, the UPSC has come up with such a unique question only this year, like based on history. Right, so in that regard, you can consider it as under the theme of history also, or you can consider it as social issues. Either can be more apt, but under history, it is even more apt. Okay, so this is the theme. I'm moving on with the introduction. You can simply start with the many different tribal revolts that we had, or the significant role played by this tribal revolt against this colonial rule. A very brief introduction about it. Right, I'm moving on with the background. Sorry, I'm moving on with the body part. We have to discuss about the many different tribal revolts. For this, you should be thorough with the facts. Right, this Cold Revolt, Shantal Revolt, and then Shantal Revolt, and then there are so many other uprisings. No, Shantal and what else? Shantal. In the same years, there is there is one more starting with the same yes. Let's forget the name of it. So you should be thorough with those tribal revolts, right? And so many tribal revolts, and you should definitely mention at least a bare minimum of 3 to 5 revolts, right? Shantal uprising and Birsamunda revolt. What is it referred to? Vinayak? Aika rebellion. Okay. Gulgulan. No, not Gulgulan, but okay. It will come to my mind. I will just inform you. Okay, you should in the background or in the followed by introduction in the first passage, you should try to list various revolts, tribal revolts that India has faced, right? And followed by that, you can go with the nature or characteristics of those tribal revolts. How far they were very scattered, and there were no yes, on singular lines. Yes, right? So how far they were very much scattered across India, and where there was lack of leadership, and there was lack of an ultimate goal, right? So these are some of the characteristics common to all these tribal revolts. So followed by that, this nature or the characteristics of these tribal revolts, you can go with the success of the revolts, right? And then followed by its limitations. How far they proved to be successful. When it comes to success, you can go with this Shantal Parganas, right? This Shantal rebellion actually has led to led the British people to come up with an act delineating the Shantal Parganas, empowering the tribal people to retain their traditional homelands, right? So similar other success stories you should be able to remember, and you should be ready with such stories, right? And also you can go with the limitations of these tribal revolts, right? So to what extent they were successful, and to what extent they were a failure, or what were the limitations associated with these tribal revolts. And followed by that, a conclusion. Like, despite that limitation, how were these tribal revolts played or sowed the seed for India's independence movement in the years to come, or in the decades to come, right? So these are the different dimensions. And when it comes to this important facts and figures, the core facts that we have been discussing, the many different revolts and the leaders who are associated with those revolts and the success stories, all these should be well known for you to write an impactful essay. These are the important facts and figures, and we cannot come up with certain other statistics or this survey findings, etc. here, because it is a purely factual essay, right? History based. So when it is history based, it is purely led by facts with which you should be thorough, right?